When it comes to making sales for your gym, the most effective way of doing this is still by making phone calls. The problem is that a lot of gym owners don't know how to do this. They either haven't got a solid script that they don't know about, or they just make things up on the fly, or they're just trying to just tell them all the benefits of what they do, and it never really comes to fruition. So in this video, I'm going to give you a very simple 4-step process that you can follow to properly structure your sales calls to make more money, make more sales, and do it in a way that doesn't feel sleazy. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Sam. I've been running gyms for the last 11 years. I have made over 4,500 sales calls in the gym space over that period of time. And in that time, I have developed this process that is going to very easily help you to close more sales. So step number 1 that we're going to go through is simply the opening. This is a very basic and simple thing to understand, but one that if you get wrong is going to ruin the rest of your call. So what we want to do with your opening is portray confidence, explain to the prospect exactly how the call is going to go, and to take control of that call. If you do not do this properly, they're going to start jumping in really early with questions, things like, what time are you open? How much is it? Where are you? And it's going to throw off the whole sales call. So when we're going to be starting this, what we want to do is be opening really strong, really confident, really friendly. Like this is the tonality here wants to be like you're speaking to a long-term friend that you've not seen for a long time. But you also then want to be laying out exactly how that call is going to go. So for me, it'd be like, hey, it's Sam here from Atlas Fitness. Is now a good time to chat for you still? They'd be like, yeah, it's like, cool, wonderful. So purpose of the call, I just want to find out a bit more about you. I want to understand your goals, what you want to achieve, what you've done in the past. Then from there, I can then go into all the ins and outs of our program, who we are, what we do, and then you can decide if it's going to be suitable and relevant to yourself. Is that all okay with yourself? So what we're doing there is you are telling them exactly how that call is going to go. You're going to ask a bit about them. You are then going to tell them about the program, which is what they're after. And then the onus is on them. Like they just decide, like, do they think it's for them? Do they not? Like there's no hard sell here. There's not like buy or die pressure. It's very casual, very soft. But I promise you, if you just start your calls that way, they are going to let you ask your questions you need to ask before they then jump in with the questions that they want to. So part 2 then, after you've opened up, is then just to find out a bit about them. It's the diagnostic, like what is it that they want to achieve? Why do they want to achieve it? What have they done in the past that they've struggled with? Why have they got to where they are now? And like what is it that you can then do to help them? And effectively what you're trying to do here is what you would do in any day-to-day life. If you had someone walk into your gym, it's just asking casual questions. So like, what is your main goal? If they say weight loss, cool. Like how much? Like why is weight loss important to you? Like why now? Like what is it about where you've got to that you're struggling with? Like if they say it's self-confidence, just dig that bit deeper. It's like, cool, okay. So like what is that stopping you from doing? But this way, you're just getting as much information out of them as you can and understanding what their pain points are so that you can then position your service later to serve what they are after. If you've got someone that's telling you that they struggle with training over and over, then when you come to your pitch, there's no point talking about nutrition over and over. You want to focus on the training. If they tell you that they've got no self-confidence and they've been to Pure Gym and they don't like it because it's full of meatheads, when you come to pitching your services, you can tell them that that is the reverse of what you are and you can focus on that. If they tell you they're training regularly, but actually their nutrition sucks, then you would focus more on the nutrition when you then get into your pitch later on. You are just gathering as much information at this stage as you can. So that when you get on to stage 3, which is your pitch, you want a 3-step pitch in here. So the first thing you want to be going through is the 3 core areas. Now, you might have a few more, but you want to break this down into 3. So it's not just what you offer, but why it's relevant to them. So it's not just, you will train with us 3 days a week. It's not just you will have this exercise and we're going to do this 12-week periodization with you. It's, you come and train with us 3 days a week with a group of people that are very similar in a very similar position to you. We specialize in women over 30, primarily who have got young kids. And the reason that we do that is so that our coaches are comfortable with clients like yourself. We don't have any mirrors in our gym. Like this is not who we're about. Like we don't have, people in here that are already super fit. Most people that come to us have either never exercised or haven't trained for a very long time. So you're just relaying the pain points that they've given to you back to them, but making it relevant to your training. So that when it comes to the nutrition, like for us, this isn't about dieting. Like we do not want you coming here following a 6-week plan. If in week 7, you're just going to go back to what you're doing. What we want to do is we want to give you a way that you can live your life. You can enjoy the things in life. You can play with your kids. You can go out for meals. You can drink wine. You can do X, Y, Z, but do it in a way that is functional and actually helps you towards your goals. So over the next 6 weeks, we're actually going to work closely with you. We're going to educate you about how to do that. And this isn't just going to be me telling you exactly what to eat day to day, but it's going to be helping you to understand how you can actually do this for yourself. And then the third part that we always go through is the accountability. And this is normally, if I'm honest, where I put a bit of extra emphasis, because most people that will come to you, they will know they need to exercise, they will know they need to eat right. That's probably things they've tried. But what they were lacking, for the most part, is that accountability. So if you can put the onus on this, it's something that's going to make your gym stand out more from something they've done before. And if I'm honest, it's probably what you do better than Pure Gym, Nuffield, David Lloyd's, or any of that. It's going to be holding them accountable. So what we say here when it comes to the accountability is we say, cool, so like our job here is not for you to just come down and just sign up and never turn up. So I am actually going to be tracking your attendance down at the gym, making sure you're turning up. And if you're not, then there is going to be extra check-ins. I am going to be reaching out to you, having conversations. And truthfully, like that's not a stick to beat you with. It's like, I want to make sure that you get the most out of this program and the goals that you've got set. And if there's an issue, I need to find out what that is so that I can better help you. We will also be tracking progress and monitoring along the way. Now, that could be weight loss, it could be body fat measurements, it could be strength training, it could be fitness related. But again, we want to make sure that you get something out of this. You don't want to just come down and do 6 weeks with us and leave it thinking, actually you're in exactly the same place. We want to have some tangible results for you so you can see how well that you've done over that 6 weeks. And then finally, you're going to have one of our coaches who is assigned to you as your accountability coach. Their job is going to be to make sure that you are getting everything out of this program. So if you've got issues, if you've got questions, if you want to know more about nutrition, if you want to know about supplements or training techniques or anything at all, you have that professional that you can come and speak to rather than just Googling or, God forbid, go and asking ChatGPT, which will just spit out a load of nonsense. So by this point, you've gone through everything. Now, before we go into the close, I always at this stage ask them if they have any questions. The reason being is if you do not ask this question now, then when you come to your close and you're trying to then sort of get them over the line, that is when they're going to start throwing all these different questions at you and it just derails the whole process. So now is that point where you want to say, cool, like, is there anything like, that you're unsure of? Have you got any questions on what we've done or gone through? And then they'll say, yeah, like what time are the training sessions? Where are you? How, like, they might even say to you, like, how much is it? Or like, whatever, like, can I bring my child down? Like all these different random questions, that's when these are going to come out. And it's like, once they've gone through all of that, it's like, okay, so from everything that I've run through so far with you, does this sound like the sort of program that's going to be suitable and that you think would help you? And effectively what we're looking for at this stage from them is a hard yes. Like if you're getting anything but a hard yes, you know you need to go and dig a bit deeper. Because if they're like, yeah, kind of, and be like, cool, like you sound unsure. Like, can I ask you like what part of the program isn't for you? Like what else would you be looking for? You're trying to get them to be like, yes, like what you have described sounds like it is going to help me. And if it's not, then that's fine. Like your program isn't going to be for everyone. Like you get some people like, actually no, like the timings don't work. Actually, you're more weight loss and I want to build muscle or whatever it is. And that's fine. Like, cool, like we're not for you, not an issue. But most of the people on that phone with you are going to be very suitable to what you do. And you need to get that yes from them. Because if you cannot get the yes from them at that stage, just saying that your program is actually suitable, then when you then start asking for the money, it's going to be a lot harder to do. So as soon as they're like, yeah, you know what, like this sounds great. This sounds like exactly what I need. And it ticks all the boxes. Then you can go into the close. So they're cool. So we've got two options when it comes to the program. It depends on kind of what avenue you want to go down. So you can either come and do a 6-week transformation program with us. So it's $249 if you want to do the 6 weeks with us. Or we have our monthly program. So it's £129 a month. But for that, you're going to need a minimum 3-month commitment. So of those two, which do you think is going to work best for you? So there are lots of different closes that you can go down. There's probably an entire video I should do on the number of closes. My personal preference of favorite is always an A-B close. And I like to give the option of higher cost, shorter time, and higher time, lower cost. Because most people will have one of those two things as a main objection. They'll either have a monetary objection or they'll have a time objection. Like they don't want to be signing up for something that's a crazy long period of time, or they don't want to be spending lots of money. And this way you could find out which one it is for them, and they will always go down the path of least resistance for them. So if they're like, actually $249 is a lot of money, they might go down the $129 a month for 3 months, because that to them is like where their focus is. Whereas someone else might think, well, actually 3 months is a long commitment. I would rather do the $249 for 6 weeks, and they go the shorter route. So that's where that comes in. You're also with an A-B close, not asking them if they want to buy, you're asking which one. And it's a very subtle thing, but it has a huge impact on what they want to do and the decision they want to make. And it does make it harder for them to then be like, actually, I don't know, like, can I think about it and all that sort of stuff. As soon as you've then got the confirmation, they say, yep, I want to do the $249. It's like, wonderful. So this is where you then need to start taking the details. Like, cool, can I just confirm like your email address? I've got this as your name. I've got this as your email, like whatever it is. And then you say, cool, like, how do you want to pay for this? Like, what card do you want to use? Or you can even say, like, cool, have you got a card to hand that you want to use? So you're at all times in the close, like confident, like it's called an assumed close. Like you are assuming that they're now going to proceed with it. And like, it's not a, right, do you have a card? Like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to come down? Like, you just say, cool, like, have you got a card to hand? We'll get things set up. And then you take the details, send it through. And then the most important thing, which I guess is kind of a step 5 in all of this, is then what happens afterwards. Make sure you close that call properly, telling them exactly what's going to happen next, what emails they're going to receive, what actions they need to take, who's going to be in contact and when. Very, very simple, but as soon as they've made that payment, you need to then make sure that you are easing their mind that they've made the right decision. And by doing that and then following through, it's the first part of the onboarding. Again, that's a whole other call. Now, you might have noticed I have not covered objection handling in this. That's because that's an entire topic all in of itself, and I didn't want this to be running crazy, crazy long. So I will be doing another video on objection handling. But ultimately, if you do everything that I've just told you then, done it correctly, particularly step 2, which is gathering all the information, odds are you're not going to get that many objections. Like, objection handling is way over exaggerated in the sales world. Really, your job should be to not get those objections, and that's done best in the first parts of the call. If you have any questions around this, if you want any updates, if you want to dig in deeper, then drop me a message and let me know. I haven't mentioned Ravini at all in this, but if you're interested in jumping in Ravini, there'll be a link in the comments below this as well. And then I'll catch you in the next video.